Mike Gill, State of Corruption. I don't know how many of you read the Union Leader today, but if you did, you might have saw a story. Billboard suit may be headed to state Supreme Court. Right there. Right. My case. The case fighting the drug dealers. Griner, Aganos, and Cruz, represented by Shaheen and Gordon. Right. All of them are corrupt, including the Judge Delker, who came out of the AG's office. He's there to protect all this corruption. He should have recused himself. And most definitely he should have had protection for these witnesses. He wouldn't even go as far as telling Shaheen and Gordon not to threaten and extort these witnesses. So I gave them 9. 9 people that I thought could defend themselves. 5 of which are state troopers. 1 is a federal prosecutor. For instance, Stewart, state trooper from the 70s. Keenan from the 80s. Hambrook from the 90s and 2000s. State troopers. The state senator, Sanborn, he's a witness. He might be the one that cried, in fact. Marguerite Waisling, who was the prosecutor of Anna Goss. She's only a judge in the same courthouse in Brentwood. Are you kidding me? McQuaid was part of the task force. I talked to these people. He is a drug dealer. Very curious thing has happened. As we ask for an appeal for this protection, we still got to wait for Delker to sign it. So we got to force his hand to sign an interlocutory appeal to have the Supreme Court look at it. If they look at it, they don't want to go to jail because this shit is coming down. I'm taking this to the AG's office in Washington. They are incriminating themselves. But the witnesses we have go to the extent of the crimination in the credit unions and how they work with AutoFair. How AutoFair is a drug hub from even the people who have sold drugs there. Even to the point of murder for hire. Right. That I happen to be the target. Now we have all this as evidence. I can't bring these witnesses forward without protection. We are going to the AG's office in Washington. And hopefully Mr. Trump picks this up when I know that he will, from people who have contacted me. But we need to protect these people now. Now, if you want to have a second of doubt, if Aganos is not a drug dealer, he perjured himself. He said from the beginning that he never sold drugs. He wasn't a drug dealer. Now, do you know what they're saying? Oh, well, in 1987, you were the biggest cocaine dealer in maybe America, according to the state troopers. And then they say in 20 years. Well, wait a minute. That takes you to 97. In fact, Hambrook was the investigation and arrest was in 2000. Anna Goss has been a drug dealer for 40 years and have built an empire. Do I have to remind you he's the landlord, right, of the Elliott Hospital? Do I have to tell you that his buddy, Alex Walker, is the lawyer for Catholic Medical Center and Cacavas for Dartmouth? Do you remember full of it? The big fentanyl dump? I mean, a tractor trailer. Who do you think was selling that? They said the doctors. Who's connected to the doctors? Oh, I don't know. The guys on the boards, the guys who own the fucking building? That's what it is, right? He just perjured himself. You got it? So the newspaper, why don't you call Dickie and turn around and say, hey, Dick, did you ever sell drugs? How about that? Case fucking closed. I only got the prosecutor, who's now a judge. All right. Now, on AutoFair, we're having major breakthroughs. These guys are not only selling drugs, they're cheating people into financing. They're called stuffing. I've got it from multiple sources. And guess what? It's 100% verifiable. And what banks are they using? Granite State Credit Union, St. Mary's Bank, Primary Bank. I asked these individuals. I have the evidence. They showed me. These people are experts at what they do and showed me how they did it. So they're not only selling you drugs, they're cheating you there too with the cars and laundering the money at the same time. There's no question about this, right? This is information grab only to threaten people. Because if this is a criminal investigation, which this is going to be in January, they've got to take care of the witnesses, maybe quite literally, before then. Oh, and just in closing, you want evidence? This is the 91A, Freedom of Information Act, on Aganos. Turns out, here it is. You know that case number? Turns out to be a right case number. Right. And Margaret Wageling is the one that prosecuted on the 91A. This asshole's a drug dealer. Okay? And before I close, I told you all this corruption with the credit unions. Right? Primary Bank. Your new banking commissioner, or who's trying to close me down, who gave me a fine of $150,000 to turn around because I caught them trying to reclassify my notes. You remember Follow the Head and the Black Magic Marker? They're trying to force me out of the business from talking to you. Well, this guy gave a pass to all the credit unions, the same ones that AutoFair are using to rob their customers. And you no way of telling you that they did, because Little, the asshole, just put a law in that says we don't have to look, meaning he doesn't have to audit it. Before he was the commissioner, he was a state senator that put the law in. How corrupt is that? So all we've got to do is audit the credit unions and Primary Bank, and we all go to jail, and we turn around and say, hey, banking commissioner, you were covering this up. You get to go to jail too. Mike Gill, State of Corruption.